Hello, all my joyful creators. Welcome to Cynthia's Joyful Creations. My name is Cynthia, and we are going to do part 7 of the Longmire blanket. This is what our blanket is looking like so far. And it is just absolutely gorgeous. All right, so let's go ahead and roll our dice to see how many rows we're going to be adding this week. So we are going to be adding a total of 5 rows. Now let's roll to see what color we're going to be adding. And we're going to start off with our number 3 color, which is red. We're going to add another color. So we're only going to roll one more time for that. And that color is number 10. So for me, that is navy blue. So I'm going to be adding cherry red for number 3 and navy blue for number 10. So those are the 2 colors that we are going to need this week. All right, let's go ahead and clear our craft tables, grab our projects, grab our hook, grab our yarn, and when you're all ready, we'll get started. So when you have everything, we're going to go ahead and join our new color. Again, this is our color number 3. And on my chart, it is red. And when you have your color added, go ahead and turn your work. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with this first row. This is going to be row number 40. And we're going to chain 1. And then right here in the same stitch as the chain 1, we are going to work a single crochet. And I am working over the tails of my last color and the tail from the color I just joined. And we're going to go into the very next stitch and we're going to work a single crochet. And into the next stitch, we're going to work a single crochet. And we're going to continue working single crochets all the way across this row. When you're finished, you will have 158 single crochets. If you're securing your tails in as you go like I am, then just as soon as you feel like you have got those secured in enough, you can go ahead and clip off the remaining. Just make sure you give it a nice little tug, but not too tight. Make sure you have none peeking out in the back, and I don't. And I'm just going to grab my scissors here, and I'm going to clip off this extra little bit. So just continue making those single crochets all the way down row 40, and I will meet up with you at the very end, and I'll tell you what to do for row 41. So here we are at the end of row 40. We have 158 single crochets, and we are going to go ahead and fasten off with this color. And we're going to go ahead and add our next color. Again, this should be your number 10. For me, this is navy blue. And when you get your color joined on, then go ahead and flip your work. And for this row, we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And just like before, I'm going to work my tails in as I go. You can do the same, or you can pull them to the back and weave them in later. All right, so this chain 3 is going to count as our first stitch for this first single crochet. So we're going to go right into this next stitch here, and we're going to work a double crochet, and that chain 3 is counting as our first double crochet. And then we are going to work a double crochet into the next stitch, and we're going to work double crochets all the way across this row. So as we work across row 41, we will have 158 double crochets. And when we get to the end of this row, I'm going to be introducing a different stitch to you. And I'm just working to work over those tails enough that they're secured in that I can go ahead and clip them off. I'll work one more double crochet here. And that will definitely be far enough that I can give that a little tug to make sure I've got it all nice and tight, nothing peeking through. And then I can go ahead and clip the rest. Remember, you don't want to pull those tails too tight because you don't want to change the formation of your work. All right, so go ahead and continue working across row 41, working double crochets. And I will meet up with you at the end of this row. We will not be changing colors. This is the only other color we're going to be working with today. But we're going to be doing a different kind of stitch when we get to the end. So I will wait till we get there to tell you what we're going to do. So I'll meet you at the end. My red and orange almost look the same color, but I can clearly see the difference. I don't know if holding that up, it still looks the same color. There you can slightly see the difference between them. But it does stand out pretty good. With me, the lighting's a little bit different. Let me see if I turn my camera light on. Oh yeah, that gives you a little bit more of a contrast there. You can clearly see the orange here, the red, and then up against the blue. Let's see if I bring my light down a little bit, if that helps some. Oh yeah. All right, I'll meet you at the end of this row. All right, so here we are at the end of row 41. We have 158 double crochets. You want to make sure that right now your blanket is the right side facing out. You should see your stitch marker if you've put one on. It is real important that this next row, that the right side of your blanket is what is facing, because we will not be turning our work to complete this next row. So to get started, we're going to chain one, and we're going to work back across the row this way with what is called or referred to as a crab stitch. If you look at the tops of all your stitches, and let me bring mine close here so you can see it, you will see what creates kind of like a V. And if you turn it at you, you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. You've got your front loop, which is this front loop right here by my thumb. And then you have this back loop that's back here by my other thumb. And together they create this V at the top of your stitches. We're going to be working in the front loops only. And we're going to do single crochets because that's what the crab stitch is. So let me show you. I will tell you the very first one is the hardest, but once you get past that, it will start to get easier. Even though crocheting this way is not comfortable or how you would normally crochet. So again, you should have chained one, and then we're going to bring our hook right here up underneath this front loop. We're going to yarn over and pull that stitch through. You have 2 loops on the hook now, and we're going to yarn over and pull through both of those stitches. All right, let me do it with you one more time. We're going to come over here, and we're going to come up underneath that front loop like that. We're going to yarn over and pull through. We have 2 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through both loops. Let's do it again. We're going to go up underneath this front loop like this, yarn over, pull that loop through. We have 2 loops on the hook, and we're going to yarn over and pull through both of those. And let's do it again. We're going to come right here. Make sure I get my fingers out the way. And I'm trying to get the lighting so you can see it better. Let's see if this shows up better. So we're going to come right here up under this front loop. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through both of those loops. Let's do it again. We're going to come right here underneath that first loop in the front, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both. Now it should start to get a little bit easier, and you should have a better feel for it the more you do. And if it takes you a minute, that's fine. Just pause the video and work at your own pace. And I've had people say, well, why can't I just come through it this way and go through the loop and then do it that way? You can, but it's not going to give you the full effect of what we're trying to do. And I'm going to work a couple of them that way, so do not do it the way I'm doing it at the moment. I'm just doing it for demonstration. All right, let me pull that through so I can show you now. All right. And you're still not going to get the full effect of this until we get the rest of our stitches in. And I hope you can see this better now. So this crab stitch is creating like this ridged effect on our work. And again, you're not going to see it as much until we get the next row on. But if you will, imagine that my finger is the next row. And see, it's given it this kind of textured effect. Over here, doing it that other way, it does, but you can clearly see that this gives it more of a defined texture than this does. So I do not recommend doing it that way, although it may seem a little bit easier. But again, once you establish and get a couple of these going, it's a lot easier to do. So we're just turning our hook and coming up under it that way, pulling up a loop, and then pulling through all two. All right, let's do it again. We're going to come up under that front loop like this, and as you can clearly see, there's my front loop, and then back here is my back loop. We're going up underneath the front loop, see that? And we're going to yarn over, pull our loop through, yarn over, and pull through all two. All right, we're going to do another one. Go up into that front loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through. And just to help some of my friends out, when I go to insert my hook into that front loop, my hook is vertical. Okay, so I am going up into that front loop. I'm not coming down into it. I'm going from the bottom side of that front loop, and I'm pushing my hook upward. Okay, yarn over, pull the loop through, yarn over, and pull through all two. So again, I'm going up underneath that front loop of the next stitch. My hook is facing vertical towards me. I'm going to push it up to the top of my work, yarn over, pull that loop through, yarn over, and pull through both loops. I'll do it again. I'm going to go up underneath that front loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through both loops. We're going to go up underneath that front loop of the next stitch. We're going to yarn over. We're pulling through just that one loop, that front loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops. And again, the more you do, the easier it'll become and the faster you'll get. It just takes a little bit of practice. And again, this is referred to as the crab stitch, or like a backward single crochet. And we're moving from left to right. All right, let's do a couple more together. We're going to go up underneath that front loop, yarn over, pull the loop through, making sure you're only going through just the right loop, the front loop, excuse me, yarn over and pull through both loops. All right, so let's start again. You have one loop on your hook. You're going to insert into the next stitch by going up underneath the front loop only. So you're like going from bottom to top. Yarn over, pull a loop just through that front loop only, yarn over, and pull through both the loops that are on your hook. I'm going to do one more with you. All right, we're going to come up underneath that front loop, pushing from the bottom up through to the top. All right, we're going to yarn over and pull a loop just through that front loop only. We have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through both those loops. And so we're going to keep doing this all the way back down our blanket. Remember, the right side of your blanket needs to be showing. It needs to be the side that's facing you. That is very important for this row. If for some reason when you went to start this row, the back side of the blanket was facing you, then just fasten off your color, reattach it so that the right side of your work is facing you. Because when you're finished with this pattern, you're going to want the ridge that this crab stitch is creating to be on the front side of your blanket. I don't think that one worked right, so let me redo it. So again, we're going up underneath that front loop only, yarning over, pulling a loop through just that front loop, 2 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. All right, so you're going to continue working that stitch all the way down this row. When you get to the end, you will have 158 crab stitches. And again, you'll see more what we're actually creating when we add the next row. And even though you're not able to see it quite clearly what we're doing until the next row is added, you can kind of see that it's creating like this little fold. And that's what you want. So keep working all these crab stitches all the way down row 42. Again, you'll have 158 crab stitches when you get to the end. Again, just trying to show it to you. And then I will tell you how we're going to proceed for row 43. That's going to help make these crab stitches pop and give a texture to our blanket. So don't get frustrated. Keep on going. Keep on trying. Again, you've got all week to do this, and even if you get a little bit behind, you'll always be able to catch up. So just take your time. Don't let it frustrate you. If you get frustrated, walk away, work on something else, or put it aside and come back to it the next day. But again, this is just something new. Some of you may have done this before. Some of you, this may be the first time. But I want you to have fun with it and try something different. All right. So I'm finishing up this last one right here. And so just keep on working, and I will meet up with you at the end of the row. If for some reason you become extremely frustrated and just cannot grasp it, I don't want you to be defeated, and I don't want you to give up. So if that becomes the case, chain 1, turn your work. The wrong side will be facing you. So as you're working your single crochet stitches, you'll want to work in the back loop only. That way it's forcing this ridge to the front of your work versus the back. Because if you work in the back loops going across that way, then it's going to put your ridge on the back side of your blanket, and you want it to be on the front side. So again, if you decide not to do the crab stitch and you want to do it regularly, the regular way, then turn your work after chaining 1 and do a single crochet in the back loop only. So again, you can look at the top of your loops. Whoops, let me get some that I haven't worked. Look at the top of your loops and you'll see the V's, and you'll work in the back loop instead of the front loop. We're working in the front loop because the right side is facing us. All right, if you have any questions, leave me a comment in the comment section and I will answer it. But hopefully you will give it a go and work at it a little bit. Again, the further along you get on the row, the easier it becomes. It's just those first couple getting started and getting used to it. All right. Well, I will definitely see you at the end of the row. Okay? So we're down here at the very last stitch. And if you'll notice, this is our chain that we began the row with, our chain 3. So we are going to come right here into the top of this chain, and you may have to wiggle your hook a little bit, and we're going to go right into that front loop at the top of that chain and complete our last stitch. And that completes our last crab stitch. And you can kind of see how it's given us this raised look. And we're getting ready to take a, we'll be able to see it a lot more once we start the next row. All right, so to start row 43, right? Yep, row 43, we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. Again, we've got our right side facing if we have done the crab stitch. Okay? And so we're going to come right here into the back loops of all these stitches. We didn't go into the back loop at all. So now we're going to work into the back loop of all those stitches, and we're going to do double crochets into the back of those stitches. So I'm going to come right here into that first one, and I'm going to work a double crochet. And I'm going to go right into the next one. And to work into that back loop, for those of my friends that need it, we're taking the hook and we're entering from the top of the loop and pushing down towards the table. Yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. So we enter through the top of that back loop, pushing down, and then yarning over and completing our double crochet. And I'm going to do just a couple more of these. Oops, I apologize. Did not realize that we were off camera there. And working our double crochets. So again, we yarn over, go down into the top of that back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Let's do another one. Yarn over, go down through the top of that back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, and pull through the last 2. Now, if you chose to not do the crab stitch and you turned your work and you worked single crochets into the back loop, then you're going to turn your work, see how that's creating that ridge. Now you can really see that texture ridge right there. from the crab stitch. So if you chose to turn your work and work single crochets into the back loop of your work, you're going to chain 3 at the end, turn your work, and this time your project should be front facing you. You are going to work double crochets into the back loop as well, because now your project is facing you the right way, and you also want your ridge to be, facing. So you want the double crochet to create the flat part. So you're going to work in the back. And just to show you what that would look like so you can see the difference in contrast. So this was if I had worked my double crochets, turned my work, and worked my single crochets in the back loop only, turned my work again, and worked in the back loop doing my double crochets. This is what it's going to look like. So you can see that it's still giving you a texture. You can really see it there. But when you do it with the crab stitch, I don't even have to turn it sideways. You can already see it this way. How much, whoops, my hook got caught on my work. All right, there we go. You can see how much that is sticking out. But if I turn it sideways for you as well, you can really see that. And it gives a nice texture. Definitely gives it, again, that Navajo Native American type feeling to it, because there's a lot of texture to it with the color change. All right. So continue working down row 43, working double crochets into the back loop only. Again, at the end of this row, you will have 158 double crochets, and I will meet up with you at the very end. So here we are at the end of row 43. You should have 158 double crochets. And so we're going to go ahead and start our last row, which is row 44. And we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to turn our work. And right here in this same spot where we did our chain 1, we're going to work a single crochet, and then we're going to work a single crochet into the next stitch, and we're going to work single crochets all the way across row 44. And so when we get to the end, we'll have 158 single crochets. So go ahead and work across this row, and I will meet up with you at the end, and we'll finish off together. So here we are at the end of row 44, and we have our 158 single crochets. So we are going to fasten off our color. This is all that we are going to accomplish for today. And I'm going to turn this over so you can kind of see what we created today. And as you can see, we have this textured, let me see if I can zoom down on this a little bit. So we have this textured little cord running through here, just giving it a little bit more of some depth. All right. And I can definitely, even in the camera, see the contrast between the orange and the red. Where before, the way the lighting was, it made it look very similar. And it still does, but hopefully I'm hoping that when I get through the editing that I'll be able to see that you can distinctly see the difference, although I can looking at it. So, all right. Well, this completes part 7 of our Longmire blanket. Our blanket is just beautiful. I just love the way that it is coming together with today's edition and what we've done so far. That is definitely very vibrant. Just love the way the colors have come together on this. Well, this has been Cynthia with Cynthia's Joyful Creations for Funday Monday, part 7 of the Longmire Blanket series. So take care, everyone. Bye.